Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be going over our 5th grade curriculum picks for the 2020-2021 school year. We are new to homeschooling, and so I have not actually used any of this curriculum, but these are just the things that I thought would work for my son that's going into 5th grade based on his learning style, personality, and what I am capable of teaching. My name is Alex. We have 6 kids. Our oldest is 10, our youngest is 1, and we will be homeschooling 4-ish of the kids. My son is going into 5th grade, my daughter is going into 1st, and then I have 2 boys that will be doing preschool, not with any formal curriculum, but for the 2020-2021 school year. So without further ado, let's get started. So for my son going into 5th grade, I did quite a bit of research trying to figure out what would work for him. He's an avid reader, loves to read, so I knew that I really wanted some type of literature-based language arts English curriculum. Now in 5th grade, I believe that you're kind of getting away from learning how to read and you're going more towards reading to learn, and you're getting more into the writing papers, essay format, things like that. So that's going to be his, focus as far as language arts is concerned. And so I was looking for something that really had, creative writing, things like that, and then also was based off of literature that he could read and do his work based off of that. So I decided to go with Lightning Literature. What I liked about this is that it was just language arts. So there are a lot of literature-based language arts programs out there, and I feel like they usually tie into maybe social studies, history, or other subjects. There are some that you can choose to tie them into those subjects or not, but I just wanted something that was just going to be just language arts, just English. And I really first I like the literature books that they chose in this curriculum. Let me see here. So just a few of them. I did get some of them. So here are some of the literature books, and I feel like it is a very diverse collection. Let's see, this is the Mighty Miss Malone, Boy, Tales of Childhood, Holes, which he's already read, but that's fine, Anne of Green Gables, I Am Malala, I believe it's pronounced that way, I'm not 100% sure. I feel like they're very diverse books. I feel like they are very rich literature books that he can learn from, and he is very excited to read those books. We talked about them. I showed them to him. He's very excited. So let's see. The layout for Lightning Literature, I'm not going to get into it too much, but let's see here. So it's very, very, I don't know if you can see that, simple. It's just like, day 1, read these chapters in one of the literature books that you're assigned, and then you answer comprehension questions about it in your workbook, and then you do grammar and mechanics, and then you start to do composition. And that's kind of broken up too, like day 1, you're brainstorming the topic of, the essay you're going to write. Day 2, you're kind of organizing your thoughts, making an outline. Day 3, so I kind of like that because it's teaching them kind of the format on how to write papers, essays, creative writing, things like that. And then there is grammar and punctuation, mechanics. So I really, really like this. I saw there were several reviews on this for different ages. This is the 5th grade level though. So there's that. And then let's see, okay. And then so for science, we decided to use Bob Jones University Science 5. So you get a teacher edition, you get a student textbook, there is an activity manual, and then an activity manual answer key, and then there's a test booklet, and then a test answer key. So what I liked about this was, number one, it is a Christian worldview science curriculum, which, you know, if that doesn't interest you, that's fine. This wouldn't be for you. But I liked the Christian worldview. I liked the fact that it came with tests, because science is not my area in any way, shape, or form. So I kind of appreciate being able to have him take tests and make sure that he is understanding and comprehending and soaking in what he's learning, and just kind of, you know, it's a nice guide, I suppose. And then the other thing I liked was I had talked to my son and asked him, you know, if he would rather have an open and go science, get it over with, get it done, or if he wanted something that was more experiment based, and he did want something that was more experiment based. So I did go with this. There are lots of experiments in each chapter, each unit, and you can choose to do them or not. So I kind of liked that the option was there. I also liked that it has lots of vocabulary words, things like that. He does like science, so I think this is going to be a good fit for him. And then let me see. Yeah, and then there's just, you know, workbook pages, which I think will work good for his personality, and then the option to do the experiments. I am going to include my younger kids on the experiments for this, and just a little bit into this if they choose to do so. This is, I mean, I suppose you could include younger kids in the work, but I mean, it is a workbook for 5th grade, you know, science. The other thing is homesciencetools.com is a website that is not affiliated with this curriculum, but they offer experiment kits for all different kinds of curriculum. So you can literally type in Bob Jones University's Science 5 experiment kit, and they will give you everything for every experiment in this curriculum for the whole year. So, I mean, it's not cheap. It's a little bit pricey to do that, but the convenience of it I like, so I think I am going to order the experiment kit. It's, I think it was like $80 for the experiment kit, but I mean, it has everything that you need for the experiment. So if you need one toothpick and 1 cup of dirt, it literally comes with 1 toothpick and 1 cup of dirt, which I liked. I'm sure we have half the things that we would need around the house, but just with having so many kids, it's kind of difficult. Like, I don't want to go out to the store just to get a Q-tip if we were out of them or something. So that is what we're using for science. And this is in no special order or anything. I am going to have him, we chose the Good and the Beautiful handwriting level 5. I am going to have him do this. We are coming from public school. This is our first year homeschooling. So he did learn at his school, he did learn cursive in 2nd grade. So he has great handwriting, but I don't want him to lose the cursive. And so I thought this would be a really good thing to include in our homeschool day. And it's at this level, it's basically all cursive, and I just don't want him to lose what he learned, because I'm a firm believer in learning cursive, and so I think that'll be a good fit for him. So that was from the Good and the Beautiful. For Bible, we are doing Rebecca Spooner's More Than Words. She has a homeschool channel called, or a YouTube channel called Homeschool On, and she also has a unit study curriculum too. We're just using the Bible. I got my son level 2. What I wasn't going to do any formal Bible curriculum, but what I really liked about this is that I feel like when you're kids, you kind of just learn Bible stories, and I feel like this really kind of dives a little deeper at a young age, and just the little activities and things that the writing and the stuff like that they do. How does it apply to their life? How does scripture apply to their life? I just really thought this was a good way for kids to kind of dive a little deeper, especially at a 5th grade level, instead of just like a children's Bible stories, things like that. So this is kind of an example. This is a 4-day curriculum, so that's kind of an example of that. Okay, so that's what we're doing for Bible. These are just, and again, I don't know if I said this, but I'm just going over the individual, I don't know what's happening with my hair. What? I'm just going over the individual subjects for 5th grade for my son. So there are other things that he's going to be doing as a family, and I'm going to talk about those in a different video. So, all right, so far we have language arts, science, Bible, handwriting, and now this is going to be his social studies, history. So I had trouble choosing with this actually, but I ended up going with All American History. This is by Bright Ideas Press. This is the volume 2. So volume 1 is the first part of American history. Volume 2 starts at the Civil War on. So the thing that I liked about this is because I have a 1st grader, and her main focus is going to be reading, writing, and arithmetic. I didn't want to do any kind of formal history or formal science for her, really. Maybe we will, but since we're new, I didn't want to bog myself down with that for a 1st grader. Just don't think it's necessary at that age. So I did want something for my son that maybe gave options for younger children, younger siblings, and this did. And that's what I really liked about this. So basically they read, some stuff in the textbook, and then they have a student activity book, which includes, mapping, worksheets, things about specific presidents, stuff like that. So then in your teacher guide, it also gives you literature books, a book list to go along with this that you can use for read alouds on a specific topic. So like these are a couple of the ones that I got, also because these go with the literature books. But what was the Great Depression? What was the Underground Railroad? So there's a book list for all different, a span of ages. So I can get a literature book that I can have as an individual reader for my son in 5th grade that goes along with whatever we're learning in said unit. But then I can also look at the list of picture books for my younger kids, and they can learn some history and social studies too. And then it also gives, so it has teaching resources. It gives ideas for possible projects you would want to include, which I like. And then there's a nice like checklist, which I really like for the parent and just being new. Those are the things that they're gonna do each lesson. And then let's see, yes, then there's a whole thing, book list, a whole book list, and it's divided up: K through 4th grade books, 5th through 8th grade books, secondary, high school books that might appeal, literature books that might appeal to high schoolers that go along with what they're studying. So I really liked that. And it also has the literature books kind of divvied up into Christian books and secular books. So I did like that. I wouldn't really say that this is a Christian worldview curriculum. I just don't really think they give you the options and they don't really address it. So you can choose to use Christian things or secular. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, younger student adaptations. So, if you're doing a lesson, some things you can do with your younger kids. It has you do the workbook thing, and then you can go in here and do for further study and questions. You can pick one of those that you want to do if you want to dive a little deeper into a specific topic. So it's not so specifically laid out for you. There are lots of options. You kind of have to lesson plan and figure out which options you want to include and which ones you don't. But I like that the options are laid out very neat, clean, and organized, easy to understand, especially for somebody who's new to homeschooling like me. I do like the idea of lesson planning and making up my own thing and kind of pulling and picking things that will work for us, just because I'm creative and I just like that. But if you're not, and you don't want to have to think up things to do and whatever, I mean, I suppose this curriculum could still work for you, and you could just do the workbook and maybe read the textbook and do the workbook. But if you're not really a creative person, I don't know if this would be your favorite curriculum. Okay, and then what was the other thing this had? And then there's lots of mapping, which I liked. And then one of the goals with this curriculum is to learn all the presidents throughout the year, and so I really liked that too. So that is history. And then the only other, this isn't really, curriculum, but critical thinking co, Mind Benders level 4. So we have not used this ever, but I definitely like logic games, critical thinking, stuff like that. I'm definitely about that, and I think my son will really enjoy this. And so I wanted to have some individual things he could do if he was done with his main work and needed to, kind of work on something alone individually so that I could work with the other kids. So this is one of the things I got for him. The only other thing that I don't have to show you is for math, we are going to use teaching textbooks. We did a placement test, and I really think, and I know just from the reviews I've watched, I know that teaching textbooks is a little slower paced. So we decided to go with level 6 for him, even though he's going into 5th grade. I think that will be a perfect fit. We did a placement test. Teaching textbooks is basically all online, or you can buy like the discs. That's the old way of doing it, the CD-ROM, but there's a new version on the internet. So he will be doing all of his math on the computer, and basically he watches a video and there's a teacher that shows him, or teaches him the concept, and then he does his work, and there's a little grade book so I can go in and see how he did on each lesson, what he scored, things like that. That's my understanding. I haven't totally looked through it. This is just from reviews I've watched, and then also just what I've looked at when I looked through the samples on the website and the thing like that. So that's all online. I needed a subject for him that was not a hands-on thing that is teacher-led and teacher-involved. I needed him to have at least one subject that was for him to do independently on his own for the most part. Now, if he needs help, I can go in and help him, but I needed something that he could do individually so that I could work with the other kids on things at that time. And since he's in 5th grade, he is totally capable of doing those things on his own, and he's fairly good at math, so I'm not worried about that at all. The level 5 seemed to be a little too, I don't think level 5 would be challenging enough for him, and when we did the placement test, I really think level 6 would be perfect for him. So that's what we are doing for math. So those are all his individual subjects, and then I will do a video for my daughter going into 1st grade, her individual subjects, and then a video on what I'm doing with my preschoolers, some enrichment things that we're adding in family subjects as well. So stay tuned for those videos, and if you have any questions about this stuff. I can do my best to answer them. Like I said, I've never used any of it, but I hear wonderful things. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.